A bracket, in this case, it's about 3 feet long. It holds the engine after the transom of the boat. And that has advantages and disadvantages. I'll go with the disadvantages first. In a sense, it's a disadvantage because the center of gravity shifts aft on a boat like this, so that you have to go a little bit faster to get up on plane. And also the boat is more susceptible to porpoising, which is the bow rising and falling. But both of those things are fairly easily countered. You can drop the tabs to help with that a little bit. You can see the trim tabs right here. They act like flaps like on an airplane wing and generate lift. But with the engine so far aft, it does have to go a little bit faster to get up on top because the center of gravity is further aft. And if you do porpoise, which is the rise and fall of the bow in the absence of any effect like waves, you can just drop the tabs a little bit, and that'll cancel out the porpoising, as tucking the engine in also will do a little bit. But let's talk about the advantages, because there really are some good ones here with this kind of a boat. First of all, you get a solid transom, which means there's no break in it. There's no motor well. So that'll keep the ocean out of the boat really well. It makes it more seaworthy. It's another advantage is the engine is it's outside the boat, and it's a little bit further away from the people inside, so the sound levels are lower. And if any fumes, these four-strokes don't smoke, but any fumes from the engine also are less likely to get in the boat because you're just a little bit more removed. Another thing about the bracket boats is they tend to be faster because you can trim the bow out of there. Once you get going, the same attribute that makes the boat can make it tend to porpoise allows you to get the bow out of the water just a little bit more, reduce frictional resistance, and the boat will go just a little bit faster because of that. Here's a couple of operating tips. One is when you come into a dock or you come into a marina and you know you're going to use reverse. With many boats, this is true, even a transom-mounted outboard, but it's especially true with a bracket-mounted outboard. What I do is I automatically trim the engine out all the way until it just starts to tilt. You can hear the high-speed tilt motor. Stop it right there. And what happens is the motor comes out and the propeller is trimmed up. So when you back down, more of the wash goes under the boat instead of up against the transom. And that makes it more responsive in reverse. And it makes a big difference. These boats are very difficult to back with good control. They're very difficult to back downwind. So also another tip is to be even more sensitive to which way the wind is blowing when you're docking the boat. Always try to set it up so you're docking the boat with the stern into the wind. Much easier to control because any boat will weather vane, and with a thrust this far after the boat, it makes it that much more important that you dock the boat when you can with the stern into the wind rather than the bow into the wind. So a couple of tips on what to look for and the advantages and a couple of disadvantages of a bracket-mounted outboard. I'm Eric Sorensen with Sorensen's Guide to Powerboats.